Hey there, I'm Simon, and welcome back to an architecture tour of Deus Ex Human Revolution. In the last video, we were walking around the streets of Detroit, at least this side of Detroit. And now we are going to walk into the monorail station and onto the other side of the city. Or at least the city as it is portrayed in this game, which is only a very small part with a few streets. So we have a monorail station. Although it's not entirely clear why there are tunnels like this, or shuffling around, or why they are arranged this way. I think this mostly serves the purpose of allowing the geometry and the textures to load for the other side of the city. So instead of having a loading screen, you walk through here and it loads the graphics in the memory. Aside from that, I mean, there's no real architectural merit to this. I guess the monorail platform is meant to be up there, and the monorail, if you remember, came in through here and it will go out through there, so I guess you walk up these stairs and the platform should be there, but not too interesting. I mean, just tunnels really, and the tunnels, yeah, I don't know about the station. It's missing a lot of things that would appear in the station, like ticketing and all that. Anyway, so we come out onto the other side of Detroit and we see that. Now that doesn't look very impressive. So that's the monorail again. You know, as we said in the last video, we encourage you to look that way, but there's nothing to see really. So let me just jump ahead and just show you what you would want to see, which is this. That's the Detroit Police Department, and I'm not entirely sure what angle is the best. I guess here. I'm pretty sure this would have been a concept artwork shot of something, or something like that. You know, that looks good. That looks good. Whereas if you are here, you know, you have all these things getting in the way, it doesn't look as good.
Welcome to the Detroit Automated Information Network.
Again, you know, a lot of stuff in the way, you don't see the building as you'd like. And here, that's not all that impressive. So again, we come back to the point of the problem with, you know, using concept art that only looks at a scene from one angle, and then putting it into a game where you're allowed to walk around buildings, and so then when you walk away from where the building looks good, it doesn't look as good. Oh, and I guess that's Jensen's apartment building. So you can compare again, as we said in the last video, the new architecture of that and of Seraph Industries and of Lim. Compare that to the old architecture here. So the police department is a part of old Detroit. If you follow the story, you hear about how, you know, the police and the army are being replaced by private security firms and all that, and so these guys are under-resourced and getting left behind in the new regime. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the architecture in this game, like, it has moments of brilliance, but then you still have to question why, you know, why would they put it there, facing that way, instead of putting, let's say, the police station over there and then facing this way, if you can imagine that. So imagine if we look down here and we see the front of the building. Because when you play the game will give you a quest to go to the police station, and then it will lead you through here. And you always kind of walk this way. So if you're always coming from that direction, then, you know, why don't you just put the building in, why would you orient the building in a way that, you know, shows off the best side of it? And even if you're coming from this side, you know, I guess there's all these, you know, lampposts and power lines and all these things in the way. only see the best angle from here, but you never come here walking sideways like this unless you were doing what I'm doing right now, you know, looking at architecture. There is stuff over there. There's some, you know, back alleys, and there's actually stuff to do in the game over there, but you know, you'd walk past it. You would walk past it, I mean, you'd see the Bank of Detroit. There's a lot of light here, you might look at the MDM, but the way you move around in the game, you never get to see this, really. I mean,
Welcome to the Detroit Automated.
I would expect that most people playing this game, because they have a quest at the police station, and because, you know, there'll be a quest marker right there, what they would do is they'll come to the monorail station, they walk up these stairs, just like this, and then they'll see these guys, and then they see the front door, and then they walk in the front door, and they never get to see the building. And so you go to all this effort to design these things and make the models and the textures and all that, and you arrange it in a way that the player is unlikely to fully appreciate the work you've done. I don't know if that's the best thing to do, but well, there it is. Okay, well, we move on, and it's a shame. It's a shame, really. So why did that? So moving on. Again, here, there's nothing encouraging you to look up. Not even the monorail anymore. Why would you want to look up? Because that. You know, that is a significant building. For one, that's your apartment building, and it's important to the story. And two, it looks pretty good. Again, it looks good, but when you play the game, you will be usually looking down here, you know, looking through trash cans for loot, and there is loot. I've already picked it up. You'll be talking to people, looking girls, be looking around for stuff to do. And the game just doesn't encourage you to look at all the work that these artists have put into designing these environments. And here, like again, the quest marker will be at the door, which is right there. And what you would do is you just come in and you stare at the quest marker, and you just run up and go in the door. When in fact, that's quite impressive. So anyway, this is you know, as I said, that's your apartment building. So it is part of New Detroit, and in fact, in the story they'll say that a lot of Serif Industry employees are actually living in this apartment. I think it's easier for security and all that, so they just put all your guys in one building. And we can compare to old Detroit, which is all brick and dark and broken windows and all that, compared with the new stuff. This pattern here, I guess it's somewhat reminiscent of, you know, circuit boards, computer circuitry and all that. Maybe, I'm not quite sure. That appears to be the symbolism. So it's all high-tech. Okay, we're back. The recording just crashed for a bit there, but we're okay. So that's the apartment building that Jensen lives in, and we'll come into this in the next video. But for now, we'll finish off the Detroit streets. So over here is another game location, another quest location, Cows. I think this is supposed to be a beer brewery at some point in the past, but now it's been taken over by a gang. We'll come into that later on. And also the last bit, so just to show you where we've been, we came through the monorail station, we looked at the police station, which I really think should have been here, facing this way, but never mind. Been to the Chiron building, that's our apartment. Derek Rowe will come in here later on, so now we want to go to this area, the apartments. And this is, well, we'll go there first. And we'll take this back way. I guess this might count as a small spoiler, but I mean, it's not that big of a video. So you can go through a, I don't know, there's a vent or something. It's another thing here, like there's a lot of air vents in this game, and there are kind of secret pathways to places. This way leads back to the police station. So there's a secret path here, but none of the air vents actually make very much sense. Like they serve as secrets more than actual air vents, you know, ventilation systems and air conditioning and all that. So they don't make sense as air conditioning or ventilation, but they do make sense as, well, secret roads for you to walk through to get to back areas. So this is Brooklyn Court, I believe it's called, and this is where all the poor people live, all the people who are left behind. And you can see these are punks. Nice hair. What's it behind it? Lies? Hello, my name is Lies. So the graffiti kind of tells you a bit about, I don't know what it says, augmented puppets. Fight the power. Lies. What does that say? Panic in Detroit. So these guys have been left behind by the new economy, and as you can see, these are old buildings. They're kind of run down. You have hobos and punks. There you go, hobo. And they're in a dead end too. Like literally, this area is a dead end. Like there's nowhere else to go. You come through here through a secret, you know, air vent. And again, you know, the architecture supports the story where augments, they help some people, they help the rich people mostly who can afford them, but the poor people get left behind. So we come back out through this way, and this is the petrol station we saw in the last video. So this is the back of the petrol station. You know, so all the poor people and all the people who are left behind, they're hidden away and trapped in a part of the city that's not connected to the rest. And that's symbolic as well. And that's it. So we've been through all the streets. We haven't been to the convention center, that will come later. We've been inside Seraph headquarters, we've been inside the Limb Clinic. Next up we will go, actually, why not? The apartments are quite simple. I'll go into one of the apartments. There's not too much to see, but just to show you what they look like on the inside, and maybe to compare with the interior of Jensen's apartment as well. So this is one of them, I guess. A security door. I think this is... no, never mind. I think they all have security doors at some point. So you have staircase. And the map had actually changed, I think. Yeah, it did. So staircase and apartments. The scale of this thing is a bit off, and as in all computer games, if you remember, the streets outside are far too narrow for cars. So computer games often change the scale of buildings. So I mean, look at the size of the corridor here. Look at how small the apartment is.
An extremely regrettable affair.
You also turn that off. So this guy actually works for Seraph Industries. And actually both of them do, they're husband and wife. And so this apartment is actually better furnished than most of the others. So they have a bathroom, a bedroom. The bedroom is huge. And as you can see, they have fancy lights and fancy furniture and artwork and all that. Again, the old fancy, what do you call that? Shelves. Leather furniture. So these guys are actually better off than most people. Let's try and find some other people. So there's only one apartment in this whole building apparently. I think there are other doors, but they're all blocked and closed and locked. So again, you know, you want to suggest that this is an apartment building because the story says that this is an apartment building, but in practical terms, you can't fit a full building into a computer game all that well, so you just fudge most of it. So all these apartments, for some reason, they don't have a front door. You kind of go in back doors and you climb in windows to access them. So I'm climbing up the fire escape. And actually this might not be the best building to go into. But we'll see. So for this one we come in through the rooftop for some reason. So all these apartment buildings apparently have the same interior decorator, because they all look the same on the inside. Well, I guess literally that's true, because the same guy probably made the models and made the textures for all of them. Let's see, this apartment, this guy I think just moved in.
Regardless, several violent skirmishes did break out, but no serious injuries were reported.
Ah, he's got nice furniture too.
Reporting to you live.
Same paintings. Amazingly the exact same paintings as before. This guy's doing okay. He's got a little bit of furniture, it's a bit untidy though. Let's see, what's down here? Oh, this is the exit already. And I don't think I have the... Oh, I can buy it. Icarus landing system. Oops, I'm not supposed to show you gameplay of any sort, but anyway, that allows me to jump off buildings and not die. I just didn't want to walk through that. I'm trying to remember if there are any less well furnished apartments. Anyway, I can't remember exactly. So those are the apartments. It's very simple. Some people have nicer furniture, most people have fairly modest apartments. We can keep that in mind for the next video when we go into Jensen's own apartment. Alright, so recap of what we've seen so far, I guess. You know, I really do like the way that the architecture supports the story and the narrative. Especially things like the contrast between the old Detroit and the new Detroit. The contrast between the poor people who are left behind and the people who are part of the new technology, the new augmentation technology, and they reap the benefits of that. And you know, the police, the Detroit Police Department, is part of the old Detroit. But you might have noticed that some of the police officers are augmented as well. But you know, they're being overtaken by the new private security firms and all that. And so, you know, all the symbolism and all the architecture here ties into the story, and it's all consistent and it all follows one another, and they all support each other. And I appreciate the effort that the designers of this game have put into making sure that everything fits. You know, everything fits together, and there's no contradictions and no weird bits. So that's good. That's good. It ensures good quality computer games, and I do appreciate good computer games. So anyway, we'll end this part here. Next part should be fairly short. We'll just go into Adam's apartment building here and have a look at his own apartment. Alright, hope you're enjoying these, and I'll see you guys in a bit.